I got to ask you a question, and I hope I'm not going to offend you, but it's something that I see, and it's honestly driving me a little batty. I got a feeling that a lot of craft brewers right now are feeling like they're on a hamster wheel. You're doing the same things over and over and over again, and it looks like you're hoping for different results. And now, I don't know if it's actually the truth. I'm no psychologist, but I've been told that's kind of the definition of insanity. So I don't think you're crazy, but I do think you guys could use a little bit of help. And that's what I want to do today. Now, before I get you all excited, I'm going to share a little bad news with you. What I'm going to share with you is going to require you to make some changes. And I get it, change is hard, but there's some good news as well. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these changes and how they're going to make things better. And I promise it's going to be easier than you think. And towards the end, I'm going to share with you a way to not only make it better and easier, but get it all done faster. First change you absolutely have to make is stop being so rigid. Be a bit more flexible. And what I'm talking about is flexibility to exploring all options as far as from a revenue standpoint. As I go into craft breweries, I am seeing some changes, but not enough. And I think a lot of folks are really struggling with the idea of what else should I share and sell with folks. You got into this business because you love craft beer, you make a great craft beer or craft beers, and that's what you wanted to do, and that's where your passion is. And I'm not asking you to leave your passion, but what I'm asking you to do is explore other things. Because if you do explore other things, you know what's going to happen? You're going to find other passions, other things you enjoy doing. And some of the ways you might be able to accomplish this is things like creating kombucha options for folks to come in on. If legal, enable hemp-based products, low or no AC options, seltzers and ciders and meads. And here's another thing to think about, maybe even coffee and tea. And of course, food falls under this category as well. But here's the thing. Explore different things, assuming it's all tied and true to who you are and what you want to do. But here's where you can't stop. If right now you're not generating the type of revenue you want, solely selling craft beer, then you know what you need to think about? Expanding things. I did this once in a business. I had a driving school and I opened up a translation business inside of it. Why? I saw a need. It was an opportunity. I want you to explore that. That leads me into the next thing that I want to talk about is maximizing your revenue options. I see folks, almost every craft brewery I walk into, one of the top things I look for and see almost 100% of the time is folks aren't maximizing merch revenue. And why do I say that and how do I know that without, listen, I don't walk in every brewery and dive into your books. I can tell based on what folks are wearing inside, and most importantly, how I can tell is by looking at how merch is displayed. The better the display, the more merch you're going to sell. And here's the thing, that's non-negotiable. That's just a fact. What I recommend you doing like yesterday is looking through your facility, looking at your merch option, how you're displaying it through clear eyes. Can you expand and offer more things? And can you offer more exposure to the people who come into your facilities to see the merch that they could purchase from you? If there's a yes in any of that, then you are leaving revenue on the table. And merch is one of the best things to do because it's not just revenue. You're actually creating folks walking around or bringing into their home and advertising your business to their friends who come visit. Shirts, hats, glasses. I mean, there's nothing you shouldn't consider. Backpacks, everything, because anywhere you can put your name, have folks walk around with it on there, is an absolute win for you and your business. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I want to kind of expound on this idea of look for ways to bolt revenue onto your business. And that could be a situation where perhaps expanding hours. I mean, most breweries and brew pubs recognize the idea of serving food with beer. That's a no-brainer. But how could you be a bit more creative? What different types of things could you do? I mean, I mentioned that I had a driving school. I only opened up the driving school because I had a conference room for an ad agency, and that wasn't being used at night. And kids go to driving school at night, and I didn't need to It was something I could dive into, generate more revenue from the existing footprint. I had never worked a second in the driving school industry, and I went ahead and opened up a driving school. And to be honest with you, by almost any measure, it was pretty darn successful. And that's what I mean by looking and searching and getting out of the box and thinking in broad scale, how I can bolt on different things to my business with little to no additional expense and generate more revenue. Guys, we need to do this in 2025 to see the type of success that we'd all like to see. Another thing I want to speak to you about, and listen, I don't mean to offend you folks. A lot of folks who watch my videos are involved in the marketing of breweries, and I'm not being critical, but I'm being honest. So much of what I see out there right now is boring. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. And listen, I watch a ton of social media posts all about breweries. I spend a lot of time doing that. If I told you exactly how much and I kept track of it, you'd probably say, Trip, you need to get a life. You know what? You might be right. But here's the thing. I see you guys doing the same things over and over and over again, and it just is falling flat in 1 second without any type of brain, any information on the screen. Oftentimes I know what brewery it is. And I follow hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of breweries. And I just go, oh, I know who that is right away, because it's the same thing on repeat. It's the same thing with one new wrinkle. It's the same thing as the last beer, but just a different beer inserted. You can't keep doing the same things over and over again. And here's where I think I can be of super help to you, because I know why you're doing this. It's because you haven't defined, you don't have a clear idea in your mind of what your brand is. And I've got a free branding guide I want to share with you, because I think it's going to help you better understand that. Because once you get your branding tied in nice and tight, it's going to make so many things for you easier when it comes to creating posts. It'll almost be effortless, because once the branding is solidified in your mind, you're able to go forward. So right now in the comments, put branding, and I'll give you a copy of this for free. I'll make sure you get it. Now, talking about branding, there's 3 elements that I want you to focus in on. I call it the PVV. The first P is purpose. And under purpose, you want to know why you got started, what you're hoping to achieve, and why you're doing all of this. Have that defined. Now, can you see how, if that's clear in your mind, how you're kind of start to go forward with your social media posts and pretty much any way you describe your business? It's your purpose, your why. The next thing I want you to do is the V. The first V is vision. Where are you now? Where do you want to get to? And what does that road look like? If you can define those 3 things, you've got your vision locked in. And the second V, the third part of this, are your value. What are your 3 to 5 core values? Is it to grow and support the community you're in? Is it to be sustainability? What are your values? What are they in there? And make sure you have them clearly defined. Because if every bit of your branding's defined, your purpose, your vision, and your values, that's going to allow you to effortlessly create your social media marketing. I can't stress enough how important it is for you to get your branding dialed in. That's going to create much, much better social media posts. You're going to get out of that rut of doing the same things over and over again. Got an entire video on the topic. It's right here. Go ahead and give that a watch, and I'll see you over there.